Hello, good day viewers. Here again, I am presenting the continuation of my part 1 video about action research proposal. This is Dr. Teresita Gonzales, proprietor of Philippine Global Excel Review and Tutorial Center for Online Services. Before I will start with my content for this day, let me start it with my slogan. The best investment in life is education. So my content is continuation of part 1 for the topic about action research proposal. By the way, before I will proceed, I would like to give the difference of other types of researches. The difference of an action research and basic research as well as the applied research. For basic research, it is a fundamental research that contributes to the development of knowledge and particular educational theory. For applied research, this is socially useful. It is a kind of research that is applied for social concerns. Example, if a particular action research will study about civic action program, this is relation to the involvement of students with the community, so like church activity as well as community activities. So if there's involvement of the students as well as the teachers, this is already called an applied research. What I have given you as example in my previous video on action research proposal is an ordinary action research. This will immediately solve an immediate problem or a specific problem also in a classroom situation or school situation. So this is either called classroom-based problems. Now, I will have to proceed with the continuation of my last video about part 1 for action research proposal. Now, let's proceed. This is about literature review. Now, for literature review, you should have to read more reading materials, either in newspapers, books, or electronic materials, or previous studies as thesis or dissertations, which are already finished and covered, and some of them might be already published. Example for writing literature review is this one. Under this, the title, peer tutoring, the cross-age peer tutoring of the pupils as a solution to reading problem of grade 3 pupils. This is the literature review. Part of it is most elementary schools are adopting intervention programs to improve pupils' reading performance. Peer tutoring is an instructional strategy that consists of student partnerships, linking high-achieving students with lower-achieving students. Furthermore, Rodriguez of 2017 cited that peer tutors are able to assist students in a small group setting, allowing the student to feel comfortable and successful while reading. Peer tutoring, as pointed out by Guerra in the year 2015, was a cost-effective program, and it prevented wasting the time of students who were waiting for the attention of one teacher. I have the same option or opinion with Guerra that this technique is really cost effective, especially when compared to hiring private tutors and using other interventions like computer-assisted instruction. By the way, under related literature, you should also cite some in favor and some against your statement regarding peer tutorial or cross-aids peer tutorial in reading. It's because any of the ideas of authors can be included that would also relate to what is written as title of your action research proposal. Cross-aids peer tutoring technique is an effective intervention as reviewed and supported by Craig Barnhart in the year 2018. He suggested that this intervention is beneficial to both the tutor as well as the tutee. This is an intervention that works by pairing students from different grades and ability levels to work on an academic skill together. The older, higher ability student will be the tutor, and the younger, the lower ability student will be the tutee. The students work together to practice a skill. Before I will continue, I would like to emphasize that it would be better that the related literature studies and readings of books and other reading materials must not be too old or be very obsolete. As much as possible, if you are writing it this year, it's 2020 already. So the justification of the related studies and literature must be from 2015 up to the present. Please do not also include readings in the 1990s or whatever. It's because it would not be good to read about old justifications. Let's continue. Craig Barnhart in the spring of 2017 also stated in his journal that teachers often difficult to meet the needs of all individual students and their classrooms. Cross-aids peer tutoring is one way that teachers can help students with their needs by involving older students in the learning process, because it is accepted that majority of the older students has better reading abilities than the younger ones, so they can be utilized as tutor already. So this is called peer tutoring. He added that research has shown that cross-aids tutoring can be effective programs with various beneficial results such as academic gains, increased attendance, and enhanced self-esteem. As a teacher, reading difficulties greatly affect the performance of the pupils. Their inability to read deprived them to a wonderful learning experience. Hence, improving the reading skills can be achieved through cross-aids peer tutoring programs. Next part of an action research proposal from introduction, then related review of related literature is research questions. This research questions is otherwise called statement of the problem when you are writing thesis and dissertation. So you state it this way: the main purpose of this research proposal is to improve the reading skills of grade 3 non-readers of a particular school in your community along with the intervention plan, which is cross-age tutoring. So there must be, since the problem is grade 3 pupils, so possibly it can be a higher level, a grade 4 or grade 5 student will tutor the younger ones. However, for its actualization, the following questions were proposed under this proposal. First is, what is the performance of non-readers before and after using the cross-age peer tutoring? Now, since there is the word before and after using the cross-age peer tutoring, so this is surely an experimental research. It's because there will be two groups in here. Group 1 will be considered as the control group, wherein the old or obsolete style of tutoring or letting the students read, while group 2 will belong to the experimental group, which will already be applied the cross-age peer tutoring technique. Second question in here is, does cross-age peer tutoring improve reading skill of grade 3 non-readers of the elementary school? So there is already comparison of the result. For sure there will be a pre-test conducted here, and then a post-test also. The pre-test will be at the start of the study program, and then the post-test will be conducted after a grading period, let's say 2 or 3, after 1 or 2 months. Then you test the student again, trying to compare the control group and the experimental group. So then, after the result of the examination conducted, for sure there will be comparison of the result. One group would be better than the other. Now, let's proceed to the next part of the action research proposal. This is called Conceptual Framework. For higher writing like thesis and dissertation, there is what we call as conceptual framework combined with theoretical framework. But for action research proposal only, this is called conceptual framework, wherein you can apply the IPO process, the input process, and the output process in each structure. So what is this all about? The input process and the output as example for this research is, the input in here in this said title is reading level of grade 3 non-readers. So you are focusing on the non-readers problem. And what process will be involved here? So the process that you will apply is cross-age, the cross-age peer tutoring. And the output, so the target is having a 100% of pupils improved reading level. So the non-readers would not be existing anymore. The output would be 100% independent readers already. All of the pupils in the classroom can read in the finals. So what was the process involved? It is cross-age peer tutoring. So the input is the reading level of grade 3 non-readers. So you have to count as to how many are the non-readers of the grade 3 pupils. Now, the next part of the action research proposal is what we call a scope and limitation. So in this part, you are going to write all about the limits and how far will be the coverage of your action research proposal. So in this proposal, it is said that this action research will be intended for 10 grade 3 pupils who are non-readers and will be implemented for 12 weeks. So the coverage is the limit of the number of weeks is 12. So more or less this is 4 times 3, so it's 12. So this will involve or be conducted, the experiment will be conducted in a period of 3 months. So in here is December to March during the school year of 2018-2019. This is only an example of a year, no? Then at, where, name of the elementary school that you are in. The next part of the action research proposal is research methodology. So when we talk about research methodology, letter A is sampling. Then, so what are you going to do with sampling? Now in this, since every classroom will only involve 36 pupils, this is what we call as purposive sampling. So when this method is applied in trying to get the number of samples of respondents, and this method will be used, there will be 2 groups of respondents to be included in this action research, and this will consist of 10 grade 3 non-readers, so those who cannot read, and then who will be considered the tutees in this study, and another 10 grade 5 higher performing pupils who will serve as tutors. So our tutees in here are the grade 3 non-readers, 10 of them, and then another 10 from the grade 5 who are good performers in reading. And these grade 5 pupils will serve as the tutors to help the younger grade 3. The respondents will pertain to blank. So, will pertain to, this is a blank because you'll have to fill up as to what is the name of the school that you are in during the academic year 2018 to 2019. So, if your action research will be involving this school year, so it will be for the school year 2020 to 2021 for next year. Another part under methodology is data collection. So this is collection of the data that will help you solve the problem in your study. Based on the given situation, the researcher aims to improve the reading skills of non-readers through the activities to be undertaken. So, in this part, you have to tabulate the activities, no? And then part of it is activities. Second part of the table is data to be collected. And the third part of the table is data analysis and statistical treatment. So, for activity in administering the pre-test, so the examination or the test at the start of the experiment, the data to be collected will be the results of teacher-made pre-tests to be analyzed and interpreted. So this will, under the interpretation, you'll have to cite in there as to how much or what was the grades or the total number of reading items that the pupils were able to read. Or you categorize your pupils as to non-readers or readers. But you will only have to get the non-readers, 10 of them, for the experiment. So what is the data analysis statistical treatment and here that you will use as a formula is percentage only. You will have only to count the number of students. Let's say it's 5 out of 10. So 5 over 10 is 0.5. So times 100 to get the percentage, you will have 50%. So 50% out of 10 are non-readers. If there are 20, 10 of them can't read. So there is 10 over 20 pupils, then 10 over 20 is 0.5 or 1/2 of 20 pupils. So if you multiply it by 100, you will still have 50% of 20 pupils cannot read. Now, another activity, conduct formative reading test. The data to be collected in the formative reading test is total number of pupils that pass the formative test. Again, the formula that will be involved in here is still percentage. Another activity, administer post-test parallel to pre-test. Then the result of post-test to be compared to the result of the pre-test. So since this is an experimental study, so there will be comparison of the result of your pre-test and the post-test. Still, the analysis or the treatment, the formula that will be used in here is also percentage. Actually, there are more. This will depend on the problem. Along the research question that you cited or stated. So, there are only 2 questions we have in this research. So, therefore, be able to answer the 2 research questions that is involved in here, and it should be answered. Next part is what we call as ethical issues. Now, what are these issues all about? Now, regarding this action research proposal, it is stated in her that there are ethical issues that need to be considered in executing the study. Since the subject of this research is the learners who are non-readers, consequently, the main objective of this research is to improve the pupils' reading skills through cross-age tutoring program. The researcher will confer the research project with the parents, the school heads, and the district supervisor. Hence, at the end of the study, its result will be favorable to the class and to the teacher researcher. Letter D is plan for data analysis. Under data analysis plan here, it is based on the given situations that the researcher aims to improve the reading skills of non-readers through the activities to be undertaken. So there will be dates. So start is December 2018 and finish is March 2019. So when you started in December 2018, it was observed, or naturally the observation is there are 10 non-readers. So at the end of this, by March 2019 in the study, so there's the target of 100% readers already. So that is your target. The timetable will follow the Gantt chart, and then start December, and then the cost estimate, you have to write all the budget for this reading